Okay. Am I live now? Sorry, I was running a little bit behind a little bit behind, and then my camera was acting funny. Um, Let me look and see if I'm live right now. Let's see. I do see chats though. I see Tiana. Okay, are we live? Can someone just leave me a comment and let me know if we're live or not? I haven't done this in so long. Let's see. I don't even know where I go to check if I'm live. Here we go. You're live. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Maya, thank you so much. Okay, so, oh great. Okay, good morning, everyone. Sorry for this rough start. And I hope you guys can see me okay. My camera, I don't know. My camera feels like it's blurry right now. I'm not really sure why. I tried cleaning it off. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much. Okay, great. So, I don't know if my camera looks a little blurry. I'm sorry if it is. I tried to clean off the camera part because it looks blurry to me, but maybe you guys are like, no, it's totally fine. Okay, so hello and welcome, ladies, to our live training workshop today, how to plan for a balanced and successful life. I'm really excited to chat with you guys today and teach this class to you again. I don't know how many of you guys have been with me for, a number of years. I taught this class, I think it was 2 years ago. It may have actually been 3 years ago, though. I'm trying to remember the last time I taught this. And I put it on my to-do list this year that I wanted to reteach this class, but I wanted to completely overhaul it. So if you're someone who remembers the first class, this class is going to be completely different. So, I'm just taking it in a totally different direction. So let me go ahead and get myself set up here with my slides and stuff. Here we go. There we go. Excellent. Thank you guys for bearing with me. Very gracious of you. Okay. Wait, am I in screen right? Yeah, I am. Make sure I'm comfortable here, sitting here. I'm really worried because earlier this morning when I was getting ready, it was so cold up here in my office. But I think that if the heat went on and now it's hot and I'm wearing a sweater and a scarf. So hopefully I don't overheat. I hope the weather's good where you guys are. I mean, it's probably going to snow here again. It's been snowing. So it is what it is in January. Okay, so I think we're ready to kick off our call today. So I'm just going to organize this for what I'm looking at. I want that. I want that as well here. Okay. Okay, I think that's as good as it's going to get, ladies. Okay, so thank you guys so much for being here to get... let me restart that. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I haven't even finished my coffee yet. Look, coffee. I made it. I just took a sip out of it. So I'm totally slower than I should be this morning, mentally. I'm not with it yet, but hopefully as the class progresses, I will pick up in my mental energy here. So our class today is how to plan for a balanced and successful life. My intention with this class is to really help you guys to understand my core fundamental principles that I use when it comes to planning and executing for the purpose of not just success, getting the things that you want in your life, but also for balance. Because the way that I look at it, and let me know if you guys feel the same way, is I feel we can work ourselves to the bone being successful. We know how to do that. You know what I mean? Society teaches us how to do that. But what I think is harder is finding balance in your life so that you're actually taking care of all of your priorities and not letting areas of your life slip, all so that you can have some sort of superficial success. So I feel my entire philosophy, my entire reason for being is to help women find balance so that they're able to actually manage all the different areas of their life that are important to them, that are priorities to them, and to feel like they are supported and in control, right? And at the same time be moving towards success, right? And achieving their success. Because I don't think it's one or the other. I don't think it's you have to be you have to be constantly hustling and putting yourself last and living an unbalanced life in order to be successful. And I also don't believe that in order to find balance, you need to like eschew any sort of ambition or goals that you have. Like, I believe that there is a path between those two areas, right? Almost like a Venn diagram, right? So we've got like we've got the circle with the balance, and we've got the circle with like success. And there is a place where they overlap. We just need to understand what those principles and philosophies are, and we have to execute and implement them. Let me know in the comments real quick before we kick off. This was totally like impromptu, this whole portion of my discussion with you, but let me know in the comments if you feel like, oh, I lost it now. Oh, I just lost it. What were we just talking about? The Venn diagram. Oh, the implementation. That's where I was going with. If you feel like, let me know in the comments if you are someone who feels like you're good at going out and like looking for solutions, right? You can go and you can listen to a podcast, you can read a book, you will go and watch a video, right? To learn different strategies, but then you don't find yourself implementing on them, right? That's really the key issue, I think, for so many of us, is that we do know what we're supposed to be doing. I really believe that we really do know what we're supposed to be doing, but that we have a hard time with implementation, because implementation usually comes with a lot of extra stipulations, right? To actually put something into action means that you're actually going to have self-discipline, that you're actually going to have to feel self-worth in yourself to know that you are worthy enough to go after the things that you want. It's going to mean you're going to have to set boundaries, which are incredibly uncomfortable for us ladies to do most of the time, setting boundaries with other people and telling them no, or putting limits on things, and even putting limits on ourselves, right? So I understand why implementation is hard, and it's the hardest part. But my purpose and intention with this class today is not just to give you information. I want to give you guys actions, like actionable strategy that we can use, in the hopes that after this class, once you've completed all the activities, that you are going to actually be able to implement. So I'm getting some agreement here in the comments, which is fabulous. So if that's you, then you're 100,000% in the right place. Okay, let me go ahead and jump into this slideshow before I totally take us on a tangent somewhere else, and then this becomes a ridiculously long class, because I promised you guys that this would really only be like 90 minutes to 2 hours max, is my hope with our Q&A session. Okay, so welcome to class today. So why I've created this class, as we were just talking about. So for years, I've seen women join the planner community searching for solutions, hoping that a new planner or system will finally help them to feel balanced, in control, and aligned with their goals. But here's the truth. Most of what's sold to us as planning tools are just distractions. Stickers, washi tape, and superficial plan with me videos are band-aid solutions that don't address the real struggles that we face with our time management. So I've spent the last 11 years as a leader in this community researching, experimenting, and creating tools that solve the underlying productivity issues that women face. The solutions I've developed aren't about keeping up with trends. They're about helping you transform your life. So if you've ever felt like you're stuck in a cycle of starting new planners and abandoning them, or if you've been searching for a system that actually works, you are in the right place. So does this sound like you? You have goals, but no time to work on them. You've spent so much of your energy on other people's priorities that your own dreams are on hold. If this is you, you'll want to learn more about the You Got Goals workshop, which will help you to get clear on your priorities and create a realistic plan for achieving them. Is this you? If you feel overwhelmed by your to-do list, so your days are consumed by endless tasks and you're sacrificing sleep, self-care, and joy just to keep up. If this resonates, the Charmed Life Master Planner is the tool that you need to organize your time, track your goals, and bring clarity to your daily life. And finally, if you're trying to do it all alone, you're managing your work, personal life, and goals without support, and it's exhausting. If you're ready for accountability, structure, and a community that truly understands, the Charmed Life Mastermind is here for you. So if you see yourself in any of those examples, you are in the right place. And through this class today, this workshop we're doing, we're going to be doing activities that are going to help you get clear so that you can take action to implement. I'm also going to be introducing you to some of the tools that I think are necessary to help you through this journey, right? So we're going to do a little bit of information. We're going to do a lot of activity. And then I'm going to share with you guys some tools that'll help you to expand on what we are doing in this class today and really take it to the implementation phase, like in real life, right? So by the end of this class, you're going to understand how to track whether your life is in or out of balance. You're going to learn how to align your daily plans with your long-term goals. And you're going to discover time and task management strategies to juggle your priorities without feeling overwhelmed. And as we go through today's material, I'll also share the tools and resources I've created to help you take what you learn here even further. So don't forget that there is a free workbook that goes along with this class today. It's a 7-page activity workbook that's really going to help you guys to work through these classes. There's prompts and pages dedicated for each of the activities that we're going to do. So this, like I said, this workshop isn't just about learning, it's about implementation. I want you to apply what you learn to balance your life. This is not just another video that you're going to listen to and not take action on. This isn't like a podcast episode that you're just listening to feel motivated while you do the dishes or take a walk, right? I want you guys to walk away from this class with actions to take and a plan to make it happen, right? So you're going to use the workbook to complete each activity, and by the end of class, you will have a plan for your more balanced and successful life. The link to the workbook was in your emails. If you were on my email list and you registered for this ahead of time, the link for the workbook's in there. If not, I believe that I put the link to register for the workshop down below in the description box, so you can check that out. And I think what happens is if you sign up, it will forward you immediately over to the download page for now while the class is live. And then after class is live and I wrap things up, I'll have it better organized with the replay later, right? So grab the workbook. It'll be helpful. You don't absolutely need it. I think it would be helpful, but at least grab a notebook, pen, a tablet, whatever you use to write and take notes. It'll be incredibly helpful. And I wanted to give you guys a note on my presentation style for any of you who are new to my workshops. So actually, I want you guys to drop me a 1 in the chat if this is the first live workshop that you've ever attended with me. Okay, so put a 1 in the chat. I'd love to see how many new people are here. And then you can comment the hashtag charmed if you've attended a class with me in the past. So either live or a replay. If this is not your first time with me, you're not your first rodeo, you've been with me before, hashtag charmed, just so I can get a sense of who's new and who's not. So the thing I wanted to tell you about my presentation style is that you're going to notice that I keep my talking points on my slides, and I do this for 2 reasons. First, it helps those who are watching, who are non-English speakers, to follow along better. I have a community that's across the globe, and what I've been told time and time again is that when I keep all of my notes on screen, the non-native English speakers have an easier time understanding because they can read and translate for themselves. And the second reason I put all my talking points on my slides is that it's easier for you to take notes. So I encourage you guys to screenshot information. If you there's a slide that we've got and you're oh, I need this information, feel free to screenshot it. I'm totally good with that. And that's why I keep so much information on my slides, so that you guys have that information for note-taking or screenshotting purposes. And I also absolutely love when you guys share pictures of you watching my workshops on Instagram. So right now, if you guys have a second, grab your phone. You're watching this maybe you're watching this on your phone, maybe you're watching this on the computer, maybe you're watching this on an iPad or on your TV, and maybe you've got a little setup and you've got your coffee and your notebook and your workbook printed out. Take a second and take a really quick picture of this, of what we're doing here, right? And share it over on Instagram. Make sure to tag me at Miss Trenchcoat. Make sure you're following me too, at Miss Trenchcoat on Instagram. And feel free to grab the actual share link for this class and link it in an Instagram story or somewhere on social media. If you're a Facebook user, take a picture of what you're doing right now, take the link to this, post it on Facebook. Invite some of your other friends and family members and people you know who need this information, right? Because sharing is caring, as they say. So that's what I highly recommend you guys do right now. Oh, I've got a bunch of newbies here, which is so exciting. I definitely see a bunch of names I already know, but I'm so excited for all the newbies. So welcome, ladies. Welcome, first-timers, and welcome back to my core fan base here, my community. Okay, so one final thing about the presentation. If you have any questions during class, please leave me a comment in the chat or in the comments if you're watching the replay, but start it with the letter Q. So if you start like Q and like a semicolon and then ask your question, that's going to help me to understand that what you are commenting isn't just a statement you're making and you're not responding to someone else. It's helping me to identify what questions you actually have so that during our Q&A, we can move through that quicker and I don't get as confused. As you could imagine, there's like way more of you than there is of me. So it's easier for me if I see that Q, I know you're asking me a question that you want me to answer on screen. And you guys, I will stay here as long as you guys need to get your questions answered. So make sure, use that, right? If you want to ask a question, when we get to the Q&A, I will respond to all of your questions. Okay, so let's begin, ladies. First, I want to talk to you about women and productivity because I believe that we women have a major productivity problem. We've made incredible strides in gaining power and freedom, but at the same time, we're taking on more responsibilities than ever before. We're caregivers, breadwinners, career builders, and community volunteers, all while trying to meet the endless expectations that are placed on us by society. And yet, with all this effort, so many of us feel like we're falling short. We're stressed, overwhelmed, and burnt out, sacrificing our own well-being to keep up. Let me know if that sounds like you. And I believe that the advice and messaging that women are receiving to manage this situation doesn't help. Hustle culture tells us to wake up at 4 a.m. if you want to get more done, or just work harder, right? While selling us all types of tonics, creams, and even more to help us hide the fact that we are exhausted and taking very poor care of ourselves. Essentially, we are glamorizing and capitalizing off of our exhaustion and our productivity guilt. So here's what I want you to know. You are already very productive and capable. I've actually never met a woman who wasn't already doing it all and getting so much done, but at the same time thought that she was lacking. You don't need to necessarily be doing more. You need to shift your focus to what truly matters to you so that your effort is finally working for you instead of working for everyone else. This is a really big mindset shift that I really want you guys to make, which is this idea that I think that most women out there, I really have never met a woman who wasn't this woman. Most women out there are doing it all for everyone else. They are super productive. I can't even imagine how many things that they are juggling at one time and really doing things very well. They really are doing very well, but they feel like they're not doing enough. They feel like they're failing. They know they're not taking good care of themselves. They know that they're not going after their own goals and dreams. So the problem that women have with productivity is not that we are not productive. It's that we are putting our time and our energy into things that are important to everybody else while failing to meet our own needs and taking care of ourselves, right? So if you could start to shift some of the things that you're doing, some of that productive time and energy that you're already using on yourself, investing in yourself, right? Taking care of yourself, that is going to help you to not only establish more balance in your life, but it's also going to help you to feel more successful when you start putting your time and energy into the things that are your goals and the things that you want and the life that you want to be living, right? So this is the very big shift that I feel like we have to make. It's not about fitting more into your day, ladies. It's not about doing one more thing. It's not about giving up sleep, right? So that you have more time for other things, right? You need to shift where you are currently spending your time and energy, right? So that you're giving yourself a little bit more, so you're filling your own cup, right? And so that you're actually able to get some of the outcomes and achievements that you are looking for to feel more balanced and more successful. Now, balance does not mean that you're spending equal time on everything. This is very important to really understand. True balance comes from clarity. Knowing your priorities, setting boundaries, and making time for what's truly important to you. It's not about doing all tasks yourself or meeting every expectation. It's about understanding who you are, what you want, and aligning your energy with those priorities. This isn't easy, right? Because for so long, society has told us what we are supposed to want. So many of us aren't happy because we're chasing external goals that don't align with what we truly need. So today we're going to change that. We're going to uncover what balance and success look like for you, and I'll show you how to prioritize your priorities. Imagine that, prioritizing your priorities. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, disorganized, or like something is missing in your life, I am here to help. But I want to be clear. What we cover today is just the tip of the iceberg. And at the end of the class, I'll introduce you to some resources that I've developed to help you dive deeper, because this journey doesn't stop here. I've created tools and systems to guide you every step of the way so that you don't have to figure it out alone. And so for now, let's focus on getting honest with ourselves about who we are, what we want, and what's truly possible. Are you guys ready to begin? Now, before we actually jump into the juicy information and activities, I want to start with an affirmation to really help us set the tone. So I want you to repeat after me. And maybe this is a really great slide to screenshot, okay? I am a smart, strong, capable woman, and I'm prepared to get shit done. Did you say it? Let's say it again. I am a smart, strong, capable woman, and I'm prepared to get shit done. How do you guys feel when you say that? Right? Do you feel like, oh my God, this is so empowering? Do you feel like such relief? Do you feel like you're questioning that? Like, oh, am I really strong and smart and capable? Right? I want you to notice how you feel in your body when you use an affirmation like that, because it's going to give you a really good hint for where you actually may need to be working on your mindset, right? If that's something that you're struggling with, because I do feel like so many of us don't feel like we're worthy enough. Like we don't feel like we're worth spending the time on. We don't think we're worth going after our goals. We think that our worth is really tied on into how busy we are and how productive we are for other people. But we need to actually take some of that, regain some of that time and energy and focus on ourselves. Okay? So today we're going to get ready to make 2025 your best year yet. Okay? I hope you're excited. So if you happen to be new, because there were a lot of ones in the chat, let me introduce myself. Hi, I'm Alexis, but I'm also known as Miss Trenchcoat all across the internet. I'm a full-time creative entrepreneur. I design and sell productivity and planning tools to help other creative, passionate, ambitious women plan and create balance and success in their life. My work is based on leading edge research in neuroscience, biology, behavioral psychology, and metaphysics. From my research, I believe that no matter who you are or where you came from or what's in your past, you can achieve any desired outcome. And I totally, fully believe that, okay? That it doesn't matter what you have or have not done in the past. You can restart right now with the right strategies and information and accountability, and you can move forward and achieve whatever it is that you desire. Now, I believe this fundamentally because I believe that anything that you have the ability to imagine for yourself is possible for you. Like if something was out of the realm of possibility for you, you wouldn't even be able to envision it. So if you can envision it, right, I believe that you can also attain it. So I'm all about teaching you how to manage your time, energy, and expectations so that you can reach the goals and objectives that you choose through the simplest strategies possible. So I'm all about like that hashtag work smarter, not harder. That is what I'm all about. And I love helping women to fulfill their potential. So I believe that today is the most important day of your life. Every day we have the opportunity to start fresh in our lives and get to work building our best lives on our own terms. Now, I'm a rebel personality type, so I've spent my whole life ignoring the expectations that society tries to put on women and doing things that people say aren't possible. So when people are like, Alexis, how did you become the way you are? This is my personality type, I was always a rebel. So I was always questioning external expectations. And so I feel like that's what makes me such a really great guide for other women who are struggling with that, because not only do I embody, right, the types of energy and, mindset that you'd need in order to break out of these stereotypes, right? Like I embody that and I also have lived it, right? So I'm absolutely someone who can sit here and tell you that when you say no to people, when you set boundaries, when you prioritize yourself, I know the feeling is that people are going to be mad at us, people are going to hate us, like it's going to cause issues in our life, but it actually starts helping us to put everything into place in our life. So I embody it. It came natural to me, right? And I can tell you from experience that it does not ruin your life. It's not going to cause everyone to hate you. It's actually going to make people respect you more. It's going to give you more self-respect, and it's going to bring you closer to the goals that you want. So I know the formula for achieving success and building your dream life, and I want to teach that formula to more women so that they can reach their potential and bring their dream lives to fruition. So today I want to inspire more of you to live what I call a charmed life, right? That is focused on manifesting your own version of balance and success for your life from this day forward. Now, Another thing to know about me is that I am the world's laziest overachiever. So here's a little bit more about me and my journey that led me to this important work. So I learned from a young age that I could be lazy and still be a high achiever, getting everything that I wanted without having to put in all the time, effort, and energy you think is involved. I know that there's this idea that in order to be successful, you have to work hard. It is a lie. Work hard can be helpful. Like working hard can be helpful. Like don't get me wrong. Work is required. It does not have to be extremely hard work all of the time. Sometimes there's moments where hard work is really useful. But the idea that you have to work hard all the time to have success, it's just a lie. It's a lie. It's what they tell people. It's a lie. So if you're someone who wants to create success, this is something that I've learned, I've been able to put into place with my strategies and what we're going to teach you today. So I was always top of my class in school. I won scholarships. I was an honor society student, etc. In college, I double majored in art history and political science, and I graduated early from a school where 84% of students took longer than 4 years to graduate. Okay. I worked for a Fortune 50 company and I held 4 positions in 5 years, climbing the corporate ladder. Okay. So I tell you guys this, like, not to brag or be like, look at all the things I've done, but to really show you that, like, this has been my life. Like, I'm someone who has been incredibly lazy and yet always overachieving, like always getting to the top. And I'm like, I wasn't even working that hard. I wasn't even doing very much, right? Because I was strategic, right? So strategy is really can be put in place instead of hard work to get you where you want to go. So I eventually discovered the planner community online. I spent way too much money on all the planners and accessories. Let me know if that was also you. But I was obsessed with productivity and planning. I definitely tapped into a dormant passion that I held for a long time. But I knew that the path to time management and success was not going to be found by using like 500 different planners or tools. It was about using one ideal master planning system. Now, eventually, I left my job in 2014 at the age of 28 to start my own business online, which has been my full-time income for over 10 years now. Last year was my 10th year in business. I'm best known for my master planner system, the CEO strategy planner, and the functional planning methodology. I quite literally wrote the book on functional planning, and there is a link below in the description if you would like to purchase your copy on Amazon. So I've learned so much more than I ever expected about planning and getting things done over the past decade. And I've helped thousands of women across the globe improve their lives and realize long-held dreams and aspirations through my content, tools, and strategies. And you are about to become one more. Now, how to track if your life is in or out of balance. Let me know in the comments if this is a question that you have or something that you are curious about in your own life. It's easy for us to feel when life is out of balance, right? We can feel it when life is out of balance. But is there a way to track and measure whether we are moving closer to or further from balance? The answer to me is yes. And the following activities are going to help you create a system to manage your pursuit of balance. So, getting clear on your desires. To begin with, our first activity in the workbook, so make sure your workbook is out. Let me pull my workbook up too. I know I'm teaching the class, but I should be following along in my workbook as well. There you are. I'm going to open it in my GoodNotes on my iPad. Okay, good. Interesting. Okay. So, to begin, I want you to think about this question. If you could achieve anything in 2025, what would it be? Okay. Now, I'm not asking you to look for like all of the achievements you want for the rest of your life. I want you to think about what you want to achieve in the next year. I want you to take a moment to be honest with yourself. What do you want? And do not think about what you see other people striving for or what you think you should be setting as your goals. I want you to think about what's important to you, the dreams or ambitions that you have been putting off. So grab the workbook or a notebook and write down whatever comes to mind. Do not censor yourself. There's no right or wrong answer here. This is your vision for the year ahead. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put on some music and I'm going to put on a 3-minute timer for us to keep us on track here. So here we go. Okay, for some reason, the music, I can't hear the music. Okay. Sorry if you guys could hear that and I switched a couple of songs because I didn't know if the music was playing or not. Sometimes the songs don't load. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and leave the music on. I'll just raise it up when we get to silent portions. So hopefully you are able to get some ideas down on what you would actually like to achieve this year. Now, obviously, if you're watching the replay and you're not done yet, you can feel free to pause. But for those of us who are here live, I'm going to move us on to the next activity. And of course, you can always catch up if you need to stay on one. That's absolutely fine. So now I want us to work on correcting the imbalance that we have in our life. So let's look at where you are right now. What areas of your life currently feel out of balance and what needs to be adjusted to regain balance? Remember, I told you, balance doesn't mean spending equal time and energy on everything in your life. In fact, I usually find that just making a few small adjustments is what we need in order to make that difference in how balanced we end up feeling, right? So usually it's only a few little things that we need to start integrating or prioritizing that would actually help us to correct the imbalance, right? And again, I do believe that we already know what the imbalance is. Like we know what the things are that we feel like we should be spending more time on, but we're not. We're like, oh, because it's the thing at the end of the year, like already we just got to the end of the year. At the end of the year, you like looked back at your year and you were like, wow, I didn't do this thing that I really wanted to do, right? So what are those things that you are saying to yourself over and over that you want to prioritize, but you're struggling to prioritize? These things that are these little things that you just need to do or change or start taking action on that will actually help you bring balance. So think about the areas of your life where you feel stretched too thin or where you've been neglecting your needs. Maybe it's your health, it's your relationship or your work-life balance, or even in your personal time. So in the workbook, there is a page where you are going to be able to list this out. It's a little boxed in area where you're going to be able to say what area of your life feels imbalanced and the actions that you need to do to restore balance. So write down the areas that come to mind and then jot down like 1 or 2 adjustments that you think would help you to bring those areas of your life back into balance. I'm going to give us another 3 minutes to do this activity. Okay, so that was identifying your areas for imbalance. And it looks like we're having some issues with the audio, so I'll turn it off then. We don't need it then. We'll just leave it off if it's having a problem. Okay, so hopefully you were able to identify some areas of your life and some activities that you know would help you to correct it. Now we're going to redefine success. So we need to redefine success now, not by society's standards, but by our own. How often do we hear that phrase, like you have to redefine success, right? But have you ever actually sat and done it? So I want to share something really powerful for you, which are the 5 regrets of the dying. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard about this before, but these were insights from a palliative care nurse who spent years talking to patients at the end of their lives about what they truly regretted. And here are the top 5 regrets that they reported. Number 1 was they said that I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me, right? So I feel like this one really hits home for a lot of people, especially women, that I feel like we're constantly doing things that other people expect us to do, feeling like that's going to bring us happiness and fulfillment, but clearly not, okay? The second was, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Now, according to the nurse who wrote this list, this applied very heavily to men, but there were women who also had this happen to them as well, where they felt like they worked so hard. And also a way that I feel like we can kind of actually take this for our own benefit as women, if you're not the one who's like the provider in your family, is the idea that like, I wish I hadn't like kept myself so busy. Right? Like that I wasn't constantly running from this thing to that thing, like that I wasn't filling my days with needless tasks, hoping that it was going to bring me like a sense of peace, right? So that is the second regret. The third regret is I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings, right? So again, although I feel like women tend to be very emotional, right? How often do you actually tell people the way that you're feeling? How often do you like set a boundary? How often do you, challenge people and let them know that they hurt you or that they're not being helpful or whatever you're feeling, right? This is another thing that we need to start getting better at. Number 4 is I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Again, I can only imagine how many, of us out there, right, have lost touch with people over the years because we shifted our priorities to other things and didn't make time for people that could really, be there for us, especially like towards the end of our life, right? So in a totally different way than maybe our spouse or our children or other family members, right? So that's another regret. And the final one is I wish I had let myself be happier. And this one is so poignant because I feel like so many of us feel like happiness is the result of external circumstances. But really, right, as we grow and learn, right, about life, I think many of us, right, I have come to understand now that really our happiness comes from us. Like we have to be the one that creates the happiness for us. So we don't want this to be a regret, right, at the end of our life, right? So I want you to reflect on these regrets and really think about what resonates most to you and how you've been perhaps defining success the wrong way. And then I want you to think about your own definition of success. What is your personal definition of success and what does that success look like in your life, okay? Go ahead and write it down now. I'm going to give us 3 minutes. Okay, so hopefully you took this time to think about what success looks like for your life, right? What you are redefining success as. Now, the last thing we want to do is we want to make this measurable. So I want you to think about the tangible ways that you can track success in your life. So this could mean like the hours of sleep that you get, the time spent with loved ones, the number of vacation days you take, or even like health markers like steps per day or meals that you've cooked at home. I want you to choose some metrics that would make you feel like you're living a balanced, successful life. So go ahead and write down all the measures that feel meaningful to you. Okay, going back to what your definition of success is, you identify what the measures are going to be that you are going to be able to track. And based on what we're talking about here in the chat live, I'm going to go give us 3 minutes for this, and I am going to put the music back on because it seems like this might be just a buffering issue. So I'd like to have the music on the replay at least, or for those of you who are here live, if you pull back your stream just a few minutes, the audio issue with the buffering goes away. Okay, so hopefully you came up with some measures that you are going to use and track, right, that are going to help you to determine if you are moving closer to or further from what your definition of balance is, okay? Okay. So to wrap up this section, you should have a clearer picture of what balance and success now mean to you personally. So in the next section, we're going to take this vision and learn how to align your daily plans with your long-term goals so you can start making that a reality. Now, how to align your daily plans with your long-term goals. One of the trickiest things to balance in life is how to remain in touch with our long-term goals so that we are taking action on a regular basis to make them happen. This is where my annual goal setting method comes into play. My annual goal setting method being You Got Goals, the workshop series, we don't have enough time today for me to complete like a full goal planning session with you, but I want to give you the basics to get you started in the right direction with the following activities. So we're going to first define your priorities and goals for the year. So to begin, you need to define your priorities for the year. That's step one in this process. So I want you to think about your priorities as the key areas of your life that you want to set or maintain standards in. So these might include relationships, health, career, personal development, or other areas that matter most to you. When identifying your priorities, don't just think of general categories, but think about the specific people, institutions, and establishments that you want to create or grow. So when your priorities are actually tied to real tangible things, that means that you have the ability to look at that thing and see the changes that your actions are making, and then you have such a stronger why for making your goals happen. So here's the thing. You have to be priority number one on your list. So when you write this priority list out, right, we've got on the worksheet, there are 5 sections for you to list out priorities. In the first box, you are going to put yourself, your own name, right? Because if you don't take care of yourself, it's impossible to show up fully for other priorities or people in your life. So after yourself, you can set up to 4 more priorities for your year, but you don't have to fill them all up, right? If you only want to put 1 or 2, that's totally fine. Now, why it's important to limit it? Because when everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. So narrowing your focus helps you to achieve clarity and make meaningful progress. Now, this does not mean that these 5, if you say 5 or 3, however many priorities, it doesn't mean that these are going to be your priorities for the rest of your life. They are just your priorities right now in 2025, right? That you are going to focus on because there are standards that you want to set or maintain in order to reach that balanced, successful life that you're looking for. So once you've identified your priorities, you can set 1 to 3 goals for each priority. And that's what we've got on the worksheet. So you have the ability to write on the priorities and then 3 slots for goals for each of them, up to 3. Again, if you are someone who is really new to this, I do not want to encourage anyone to be like maxing this out, right? But this is like the framework for my You Got Goals structure. So if you are newer to this, do less, choose less, right? I don't want you to overwhelm yourself like needlessly. So goals are the outcomes that you want to achieve in each area, right? So if the priority is like who or what your goals, reflect, are a reflection of, the goals are what you want to achieve, okay? So it's better to have fewer targets, I think, and go further with them in a year than to spread your energy too thin and have like so many, like 3 goals, right? And maybe spread your energy too thin. So do what you think is right for you, but just keep those sorts of limits in mind. Now we're going to take a moment to write down your top 1 to 5 priorities and 1 to 3 goals for each of them you'd like to achieve. And I'm going to give us 5 minutes for this. Okay. So hopefully you were able to get some good work done there, identifying some priorities and some goals. If you need more time, again, I know that this is a very short period of time, but we need to move on. But if you need more time, absolutely continue working on this or pause the video, whatever you need to do. Now, the next thing we need to do is to decide your objectives for each goal. So once you've identified your goals, it's time to decide on what your objectives are going to be. So these are the actions that you're going to take to make your goals happen. So the goal is what you want. The objective is how you're going to make it happen. Now, objectives, they come in one of three forms. They can either be a project, a system, or a habit. So projects are multi-step action plans with a clear endpoint. So once you complete the steps, the project is done. Examples would be launching a website or organizing your home office. Systems. These are recurring multi-step actions that you need to maintain a certain outcome. So you're going to do them on a recurring basis in order to reach or maintain a certain outcome. So an example of this would be like weekly meal planning or managing your household finances. That's not just something you do once. It's something you're going to do like on a weekly or on a monthly or a quarterly basis, right? Depending on what the item is. Habits. These are individual actions that you do on, again, a regular basis to help you reach or maintain an outcome. So an example here could be daily journaling or taking a morning walk, right? This is something you would be doing not just once, you're going to do it over and over again. So for every goal, there are multiple ways to achieve it. This means that you can choose a path that plays to your strengths and fits your resources and aligns with the time that you have available. One of the worst things I can see, I deal with when it comes to helping people set their goals and their objectives is one of the worst mindsets, I should say, is the idea that you think there's only one way to achieve your goal. And because you do not have the time or the resources to do that, you think the goal is impossible. This is where creative problem solving really has to come into play. There are so many ways to achieve every goal. I can't imagine like that I have never actually thought of any goal where there was really just one way to achieve it. You know what I mean? Like there are going to be other ways for you to achieve anything that you're trying to go after. And I want you to get creative and think of other ways. And if you can't think of any other ways, I want you to do some research. I want you to ask other people and ask them how they think something needs to be done, right? It may require you to expand your definition or expectations of the goal, but I promise you there's more than one way to do anything, So I want you to, right now, I'm going to set a 3-minute timer. And what you're going to do is I want you to think about one of your goals right now and brainstorm what kind of objectives you might use to achieve it. Now, you have a whole page here in the workbook where you can list out the goal and you can list out like maybe the different objectives that you can think of and the type of objective it is, if it's a project, a system, or a habit, right? Because that will help you to identify how often you need to do it or schedule it. But I want you to brainstorm the objectives that you might use to achieve a goal. We'll only do it right now for one, right? Because we don't have a ton of time. But once you get the hang of this, you'll be able to come back and do it for the rest of them. And here, instead of just listening to music, I'm going to give you guys some more ideas just to help you. Let's say a goal you had was to start a side hustle for 2025, right? Start your own business. One of the objectives that you might want to do for it is to create a website, right? Maybe one of your goals is to organize your home, right, this year. Then one of your objectives might be to, take one of your rooms at a time, like your home office, right? Or your bedroom, and like declutter it, right? And then another objective might be to reorganize things. And another objective might be to buy new pieces of furniture or new pieces of storage that you might need to optimize the area, right? So these are all individual objectives. Maybe one of your goals is to like improve your health in some marker of health. Then maybe what you might do for that is like work out regularly. That's a habit. You might meal plan, right? That would be a system. You might follow like a specific diet. Again, that would be like another habit or a system, depending on how you approach it. They're similar, just, it's just how you think about it would be different. Another objective you might set for like a health goal might be to get more sleep, right? It might be to meditate, right? In order to help you relieve stress. If the health marker you're trying to improve might be stress related, things like that. So there are so many different things that you can do in order to hit a goal, right? If your goal is to start a business, what kind of products are you going to sell? What platforms are you going to use, right? You could be a YouTuber to promote your business. You could go on Instagram to promote your business. You could start a blog just to promote your business, right? There's so many different options. And that's what I'm trying to say, that don't just think about this, that there's only one right way. There are multiple different ways, right? So let's say you're starting a business and you're like, I have no money. I'm starting a business. I can't build out an expensive website. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so if you don't have a lot of money, then you're probably going to start with a business that you're going to be able to do digitally, something you're going to be able to do for like free or low cost, online, or like a service that you could provide, right? So that there's not any upfront costs associated with that necessarily, depending on what the service is. And then maybe you'll use a free platform to promote, right? How many businesses out there right now do like digital printables and they're using Instagram? And you know how much money they're likely spending? Zero, right? Zero would be their upfront cost for that, right? Now they could be spending money in different areas, but these are just some examples. So I'm glad the examples are helpful to you. I know that can sometimes be a point of where people will get confused between the goals and the objectives. The goals are what it is that you want to achieve, like this vision, this feeling that you want to achieve. The objectives are how you're going to make it happen. And the objectives can be, you could have millions of objectives for different goals. Okay. So hopefully you were able to work through at least one example right now. So next, it's important to choose actions that you feel excited and confident about. So it's very important that when you choose objectives for your goals, that you select actions that you actually want to take and feel confident managing. So one of the biggest reasons people fail at their goals is that they think there's only one way to achieve them. And if the required actions for that one way, right, don't excite them, or worse, they overwhelm or intimidate you, they often give up entirely. The truth is, there's no one-size-fits-all solution for reaching your goals. So choose actions that will align with your strengths and that you feel motivated to take. It's okay to create a path that is unique and works for you. Again, going back to that starting a business example, I've worked with so many women who have come to me and said they want to start a business, and this is one of the first things they say: I want to start a business, Alexis, but I don't want to make YouTube videos. Like, what am I going to do? Like, as though YouTube videos are the only way to market your business. And I tell them, well, if you don't want to make YouTube videos, then don't make YouTube videos. We can use a different platform. There's other platforms if you don't want YouTube. What's the problem with YouTube? Well, I don't want to show my face in any videos. Oh, okay. Well, that's even, now we're getting to like a different situation here, right? So, okay, you can make videos, maybe, okay? But you just don't want to show your face. So you just do top-down videos. Plenty of people do that. Again, plenty of people start businesses and you never see their face. You see like a little icon of them. You see like a little logo. You may see their hands in a video, or you may never see any part of them, and all of their, marketing content is either written or maybe it's an audio, like podcast, right? There's so many ways to do anything. So you want to choose the paths that work to what you're interested in and what your strengths are. So I'm going to give us a 3-minute timer here. And what I've given you in the workbook is a page where you can list out like up to 4 objectives with like different, and create an action plan for them. But I want you to just take one of those objectives that one objective you just worked on, and I want you to bring it into this page, write it on in one of the slots, and then come up with the action plan, how you're actually going to take action on it, and make sure that each action you put is something that you feel good about. And if you look at something, you go, I can't do this. I am not ever going to learn how to edit videos. Okay, so then maybe we're not going to do a YouTube then, right? Maybe you're going to start a podcast. Maybe you're going to do Instagram. You know what I'm saying? There's other options, right? The point is that you only want to be taking action on things that you feel good about, that you feel confident that you can do. Now, that doesn't mean that you're always going to know how to do everything, but you at least need to feel confident that you would be able to figure it out, right? So like, if let's say you want to start a website, and you don't know how to code, and you're like, I do not know how to code. Well, the great thing is you don't have to know how to code anymore for websites. Like that, those years are long gone, right? So you just have to, you could use like, there's so many different editors or softwares and things like that do so much for you, right? Not to mention, you could also, there's always an option of being able to hire someone, right? If that was within your resources. So there's always a solution. You just have to be creative. Do not let some imaginary problem stop you from taking action. Oh, and you know what? One more thing I will say about this. I didn't put this on the slide, but I'm just thinking about it here on the workbook. If the objective that you are going to plan out right now is a routine or a system, right? A system and a routine are the same thing. I want you to list out the actions that belong to the system. If it's a habit in your little action plan area, I want you to identify what the action is that you're going to take and determine when you're going to take it in your day right now as your day exists. So is it going to be something where you have to put in a time slot to work on this thing? Or is it something where you can habit stack, right? Like listening to a book on tape while you're doing the dishes, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Where you can put things together so that it makes it easier for you to do it. So when it comes to a habit, yeah, there's not going to be lots of actions that you're listing out. There's really just going to be one action. But I want you to think strategically about where that action is going to go in your day. Because a lot of times with habits, it's easy for us to write, oh, this is the habit I want to start. But then we forget to like put it into our day somewhere where it belongs so we can get it done. Okay, so we're out of time now, but I'm going to move on. But that's just something else to keep in mind in case for anyone who did do a habit. Okay, so use the right tools to stay on track. Once you've mapped out your goals and objectives, staying organized is key. This is where a good planner can make the difference. So the Charmed Life Master Planner includes dedicated space for project planning, monthly task lists, and monthly trackers. These tools help you to break down your objectives into manageable steps and organize everything seamlessly so you always know the next right action to take. When you use a planner like this, your daily actions and your to-do list stay directly tied to your long-term goals, ensuring that every day you're moving closer to what you want to achieve. So a reminder here is that you should not be tracking your goals in a separate planner, right? If you want to have visibility on all your priorities and ensure that you're taking regular action on your goals, you need to use a functional planner system like the Master Planner that keeps everything together. There's no point in keeping all of the tasks related to your goals somewhere else that you're not seeing, because you need to integrate them into your daily life. So they need to be part of your existing planner system. So if you're using a planner that's just too small, too simple, right? It doesn't have the space. You need to upgrade to something like the Charmed Life Master Planner or create your own functional planning system, which I have videos on like how to create a functional planning system on my channel if you're interested in that. But that is going to be crucial that you keep your goals. They're not like some other area of your life that like when you have time, you're going to be able to work on. We need to integrate them into your existing life as it is, right? So here is a basic outline, right, of pages in the Master Planner and how they work to help you stay in touch with that big picture goal and bring, and really carry those actions down into your days. So on the left here, you'll outline your objectives across your year on my project planning matrix. So I have a project planning matrix inside the project planning section of the Master Planner where you are going to be able to outline your objectives and say when you're going to work on them across the year. Then you have a place for action plans. The project planning pages are where you're going to be able to list out these action plans. I know I gave you this little page here to start doing the work, but you are going to want to refine an action plan on a project planning page, right? Then you can assign tasks to the month that they belong to on the monthly tracker. So every month there is a tracker page that you see here in the center here at the bottom where you're able to assemble all of the actions that belong to that month, right? So again, you're still in touch with what those goals were for the year. You're bringing them down through through project plans, taking them from the project plans and putting them on a tracker to say, these are the things I just need to focus on. I don't need to focus on the whole plan. These are the elements of the plan I need to focus on right now. Then you'll allocate tasks to your week, right? And I have a lot of different like weekly and daily agenda spreads. This is just one of the ones that I use, which is a 2-page spread where you can see on the weekly dashboard page, there's 2 to-do lists. There's one for business, there's one for personal, right? You have enough space to actually allocate tasks from that monthly task list, right? That tracker, and put it and say, this is the week I'm going to work on it. And then you can plan tasks to a day. So you've got the daily spaces too, where you can say, okay, this is important. It has to be one of my top 3 items today. And that is how you go from the big picture for your whole year to distilling it down to an actual day. So now that you know how to align your daily plans with your long-term goals, the next step is learning how to juggle your work, personal life, and other priorities without feeling overwhelmed. So in the next section, I will show you 2 key time management systems that will help you create balance and prevent burnout. How to juggle work, personal life, and other key priorities without feeling overwhelmed. Let me know in the comments if this is a question, a problem that you are looking for a solution to. So, now that you've mapped out your goals and objectives, let's talk about the systems that will help you juggle everything without feeling overwhelmed. The secret to balance isn't about trying to fit everything into one day. It's about creating structure with your time. In this section, we'll focus on 2 key time management systems: your ideal daily routine and your default weekly schedule. So, the first activity I have for you here in this section is to create your ideal daily routine. So let's start with your ideal daily routine. This is the foundation for staying productive, maintaining your energy, and avoiding burnout. For many people, it's helpful to create 2 versions of this routine, one for weekdays and one for weekends or whatever you consider your day off, right? So this is a routine that you are going to define, right? That this is my ideal day. This is the routine I will do on my ideal work day. This is the routine I will do on my ideal day off. And the image that you're seeing on the screen right now is the ideal day that's inside of the master planner, right? Now, like I said, I did give you guys something a little bit different inside of the workbook, right? But it's going to give you a slot for work day and it's not a slot, a time schedule for work days and for your day off, right? If you need to have 2 versions of this, right? So your daily routine, right, should include things like a morning, a work day, and an evening routine, right? So like a routine of things that you do in the morning to get you ready, things that you do to prepare yourself for work, and even to wind down after work or to wrap up your work at the end of the work day, and an evening routine, which is the purpose of an evening routine is to help you to organize your day, close it down so that you can go to sleep and have a really good night's sleep. So a mindset shift that you want to remember is that taking breaks is productive, right? So a 5 to 10 minute break taken at the first sign of fatigue can boost your focus and energy far more effectively than pushing through until you're completely drained, okay? So, I totally jumped ahead. The routine should include workday, morning, and evening routines, at least, right? Time blocks for meals and daily planning and other key habits, right? So if you listed out a habit, right, on your objectives list that you will work through, when are you going to put it in your day, right? White space and breaks to keep your energy stable throughout the day. And that's where the mindset shift comes in, right? I know that we are so programmed to think that we should not be taking breaks, that we need to take every minute we can, right? And just like milk it all out of life, right? But taking a break strategically, right? If you take a 5 to 10 minute break at the first sign of fatigue, right? You are going to have it's an easier time recovering and have more energy than if you waited, right, until you were exhausted, right? And then you had to take a much longer break and then you're completely drained, right? So it's very important that we put in enough white space in our day. So the purpose of this routine is not to fill every single minute, right? But it's about scheduling our time, structuring our time, right? And saying, this is a day. What would my ideal day look like on my work day? And what would my ideal day look like on my day off, right? So on the page you're looking at here, there's a timetable, and you could use this any which way, truthfully. There's a timetable with an activity list on one side, which is what I think of it as being the place that where you'd break out the times for a work day. And then the boxes on the right side could be like your day off, right? So what are the morning things you do, afternoon things, evening? Because maybe on your day off, you're more loosey-goosey with your time. But I know that there are plenty of you out there who are actually reverse, that their days off, they have so much to do on their days off, like managing all their priorities, that needs to be the thing that gets time scheduled. And the days that they're at work, they handle less because they're at work for a good chunk of the day. So that maybe your schedule is looser on the days where you work, right? So use this, in the master planner, you can use this any which way, but you have like essentially the exact same setup here in the workbook. So in the workbook, you have plenty of space to break out exact timetables. And I will say the timetables are not the important part. It is good to use time as a method to help you structure and keep on track, but it's more important that you list the items out that you're going to do and schedule out your time in a workflow, in a flow, right? So that you are getting into the habit of following this routine, right? Because we don't actually develop habits like based on time. Like I know sometimes when our lives are very predictable, right? We might actually get hungry at the exact same time every day, or we get tired at the exact same time every day. And if that is you, you should use that information to your advantage to be able to structure in breaks and things like that to your day. But we don't establish habits necessarily based on time, right? We establish habits based on the routine of the flow of what we're working on. So let's say you start this routine one day and you normally wake up at 6, but one day you weren't feeling well and you woke up at 8. It doesn't mean that you don't do the things that were listed on the routine from 6 to 8 a.m. It just means you're starting it a little bit later and flowing through your day in the order that makes the most sense, right? And by the end of the day, you may actually find that time has expanded or it is contracted, right? So what is that called? That's called Parkinson's law, when time expands to give you enough time to do all of the tasks that you need to do. But that's actually not precisely the right way to think of it. It's if you give yourself 10 hours to do something, it'll take you 10 hours to do something. So time will also contract for you as well, which means that if you have less time, right, you may still find that you're able to get everything done, because that kind of like that contraction of time, knowing that you have to do more in less time, can help give you, a little bit extra stamina to get through the tasks. I know I did not explain that properly right then, but Parkinson's law, time expands or contracts, right, to fit the task that you have to get done based on what your expectations are. Oh, heavens. I didn't start your timer. So start filling out what your ideal daily routine is going to be. And the way I like to do this is I like to start with what time I need to wake up in the morning. And then from there, I will calculate back. If I need to wake up at this time, what time do I need to be lights out like I'm asleep? Right? That will help you to kind of give you the kind of like the brackets for your morning and your evening routines. And of course, like working backwards, like reverse engineering. If you need to be asleep at a certain time, it means you need to get in bed by a certain time, which means there's a certain number of things you had to get done before that period of time, right? So we're working backwards. Anything you've listed out to in that first section that we worked on, any of those measures, right, that might apply to a typical day, make sure you make time for them. And of course, as you complete your goal setting, you're going to probably need to shift this around as well. But it's a good idea to just get started with what you think your typical day should be, your ideal day would be. for anyone who is liking this music, by the way, I know this is like a classical music compilation. I have this playlist on my YouTube channel. It's called Genius Mode. So if you go into YouTube and type in Miss Trenchcoat Genius Mode, you will get this actual playlist. It's a playlist of classical music plus brainwave boosting, like productivity boosting. If you can hear it, there's like that high pitched noise if you listen really closely. So there's a theta, not theta, I'm sorry. It's like a beta. It's a beta brainwave or an alpha. It might be an alpha. It's probably an alpha. But there's a productivity boosting brainwave in there. And I think there's also keyboard typing noises in there as well. So it's one of those things that's a really good idea to listen to while you're working. Okay. So hopefully you guys were able to do some work on your ideal daily routine. Next. Oh, goodness. I had more things about this. Okay. To help you create your ideal day, let's answer a few questions. I'm so sorry. I had you guys do it before I moved on to this. Okay. So here are some questions that you want to add to help you work through this. What are the key activities you need to include in your day to feel balanced and accomplished? Okay. So examples could be like self-care, work tasks, family time, exercise, hobbies. And a tip here, think about what keeps you physically, mentally, and emotionally aligned, right? Because you're going to want to integrate things that help you feel more balanced, right? And more aligned. Next question is, when do you feel most energized and focused during the day? So identify your natural energy peaks and dips, right? Like I said, if you happen to know when you do get those energy peaks and those energy dips, that'll help you to plan productive work time, and it'll help you to plan breaks. What habits, what else does it say there? Identify your natural energy peaks and dips, and then schedule your most demanding tasks during the high energy periods, right? So what habits or routines can you stack together to create flow in your day? So examples would be pairing a morning workout with a podcast, doing skincare while practicing affirmations. These are things that you could stack together. And a tip here is to use habit stacking to build consistency and help you save time. How much white space, unscheduled time, right, do you need in your day to feel relaxed and avoid burnout? So consider short breaks, time for reflection, and flexibility for unexpected tasks. One of the reasons so many women get so overwhelmed in their workday, or just in their day in general, right, is that unexpected things come up and they've planned their day so, like, they've overplanned with no white space, so that when a new thing pops up, like a domino effect goes off, like a chain reaction goes off, where you have, because you have to do this new urgent thing, it pushes everything else off. And of course, that means that everything that you planned can't get done. But if you have white space in your day and you have plenty of it, if something unexpected comes up, you're able to deal with that without ruining the rest of your plan. And guess what? If nothing unexpected comes up that day, it means that you have these breaks to either rest and reflect, or it means that you could pull some other things off your to-do list and get more done, right? So it's a much better place to be at, is to have plan for less, have some white space so that you actually don't get thrown off. What are the top 3 non-negotiables that must be part of your ideal day, right? So what are your non-negotiable things, like eating a healthy breakfast, quality time with loved ones, or maybe a nightly wind down routine? Just examples. So the tip here is that these should be your daily anchors that keep you grounded throughout the day. So you could take a moment to jot down these ideas for your ideal daily routine based on these questions. So I'll give us like another minute for this. Okay, so hopefully you took a little bit of time to integrate those questions into your daily routine as well. So the second important system that you need to manage your time and your tasks, right, is a default weekly schedule. So think about your default weekly schedule as being almost the same as like your ideal daily routine, but instead of one day, we're looking at one entire week, okay? So this is why I think a lot of people overlook this, but this is why I think a weekly schedule is so important. How many of us, like tell me if this is you in the comments, are trying to get everything and fit everything into a single day? Like you're trying to move all of your priorities forward in one single day. But of course, that leads you to be like overwhelmed and overworked. But if you step back, right, and you look beyond the day, right, because 24 hours, not enough time to get everything done. But if you zoom out, you take a step back and you look at an entire week, that's 168 hours. It's like 24 hours, 168 hours. Like you have much more time to actually balance your priorities across a week, right? So your default weekly schedule is how you are going to, it's like a default, it's like a template for how you are going to handle your time across a typical week. So it should include distinct time blocks for each of your priorities. For example, you might not have time to work on your side hustle every single day. Maybe one of your goals was a side hustle. You're going to start a Instagram, okay? And you don't necessarily have time to work on that every day for like an hour or two. But you can set aside a block of time of like 1 to 2 hours once or maybe a few times a week, right? In strategic places. And then that is a better way for you to manage that, that priority moving forward. Instead of worrying about it every day, you're just going to worry about it once or a few times a week, right? In these specific time blocks, right? Because a single day is just not enough time, right? But if you could put it into your week somewhere, if you could time block it somewhere, that is more productive for you, right? So this default schedule, right, is also where you can integrate task management strategies. One of the biggest ones that I like to integrate into my weekly schedule is my themed work days. So themed work days allow you to group similar tasks together, which reduce task switching. I don't know if you know this, but whenever you have to switch between different types of tasks, you lose something like 20 to 30 minutes of productivity because your brain actually needs to switch to thinking about and like turn on a different mode of creativity or problem solving depending on what you're working on. So if you can batch your tasks and do like things together on a certain day, either you could theme the entire day, your work day, or just time blocks in your day, that means that you're going to save yourself time and energy and have this mental capacity that's much is much bigger because you're not having to choose what else to work on or having to, change the mode that your brain is in too often throughout the day, right? So theming your work days is something that you may want to consider doing as well, which is something that I've been doing for years, not just as someone who works for themselves. This is critical for me as someone who works for myself to have this sort of schedule. But even when I worked a 9 to 5 at a corporate company, right, in a couple of different roles, I would theme my work days. So, and more like my blocks of time. So it would be like I'd have specific blocks of time for admin work. I might have specific blocks of time for doing reporting or for, working in a certain computer application program that I might have needed to be working in, right? I may have had specific time blocks for, calling customers back or doing sorts of like email work and things like that. So if you could break down, batch your tasks, right, by day, what are these sorts of, tasks that you do frequently that could just be like assigned to, I only do this once or twice a week, right? So it's not something you have to touch every single day, right? So think about how you could be theming your work days across a week to get everything done at the end of the week. Now, here, before we get into actually building our default weekly schedule, I've got some questions for you to ponder on to help you build this better. So the first one is, what are your main priorities for the week and how much time do they require? So I want you to think back to the priorities that you listed out earlier in our class and think about what you need to be. Remember, it was these are the priorities. These are the areas of the life that are unbalanced. These are your expectations for what's going to make you balanced and successful, right? Where can you be scheduling in time blocks for each of those priorities? You don't have to touch everything every day. You should be touching everything by the end of a week, however, right? So what are those priorities? How much time do you have do they require, and how and where can you schedule them into your day? So examples here would be like work or family or personal development or fitness or hobbies or social activities. So the tip here is to assign time blocks to each priority, focusing on what truly matters. So which tasks or activities can be grouped or themed to save time and reduce task switching? Again, so this is on that idea of theming your work days, but you could actually go beyond work and actually think about theming even like personal things that you're doing in your life. So the example here is meal prep, errands, administrative work, or content creation, right? So a tip here is by batching similar tasks together, it minimizes mental fatigue and improves efficiency. One of the things that I do that is incredibly helpful, that's like a way that I theme or batch work that's outside of my business, is I do meal plan and prep, right? So I will plan my meals for the week. I will get all the groceries for it, and then I will cook a whole bunch of things and put them in the refrigerator, like properly store them, right? And then I've cooked all my meals for like a week, right? So that is something that I do like on a regular time block. Like there's a time block I have for meal planning and grocery shopping and for prepping meals, right? So that helps me to cut back on the amount of times I have to be cooking, and of course, the amount of times I have to be cleaning up after my cooking, which is another thing. It's one thing to cook meals every day. It's another thing to have to clean all the pots and pans, right? So that's another thing you want to think about. So and another thing you might want to think about too is like laundry. That's like a laundry or chores around the house. I know a lot of people feel like they have to do things every single day. An example of this is like laundry, right? So laundry is one of those things that like I have like a little bit of a different view of laundry than some people do. I know that some productivity philosophies would have you do like a load of laundry every single day. And I think that's fine if by the end of a week, if you didn't do your laundry, let's say you waited till like a Sunday or whatever to do your laundry. If you waited till Sunday, would you have 7 or more loads to have to do? And if the answer to that question is yes, then by all means, every day put in a load of laundry. If the answer is no, right, that you'd only maybe do 3 loads of laundry, then I think it's better to batch, right? Because it's going to be more efficient. Like you're going to be saving water, you're going to be saving time and mental energy. I realize it's going to be more laundry to have to do at once, but you also only have to do it once, right? So I personally think that, with the laundry thing is if you waited a week to do laundry and you'd have less than 7 loads, that it's probably more productive to wait and do them all together, like batch it. That's just another example of how you could be batching things in your life, right? Other chores, right? Do you have to be vacuuming your whole house every single day? Or maybe there's just like the kitchen or a living room or a playroom that you need to vacuum every day, but then you can do the rest of the house once a week, right? But how often do we feel like we need to do things every single solitary day, right? That's one of those things where certain things are probably better to just batch, so you don't have to touch it as much. Another question here is what recurring obligations like work hours, meetings, appointments must be accounted for, right? So there may be things that you have going on in your life that absolutely have to be accounted for, like your kids, schedules. Maybe you help with a family member and there's like a recurring thing that you do for that. Identify any fixed commitments and anchor them in your schedule first, right? So a tip here is to use these as like a foundation for structuring the rest of your week. Next question is how much time do you need for self-care and to rejuvenate, and when is the best time to schedule that in? So that would be like exercise, meditation, relaxation, and hobbies. The tip here is to make self-care non-negotiable by reserving specific slots for it in your schedule. And then the final question is how will you plan for flexibility and unexpected events during the week? Examples would be leaving white space or scheduling buffer time or using like catch-up blocks, right? So something that I actually do in my work schedule is this idea of a power hour. Like I like to have like a weekly power hour and I usually do it on Fridays. So it's like this is a catch-up block. If there was anything that I didn't get done that I thought I was going to do earlier in the week, I will get it done during a power hour, right? So that's an idea of like a type of work block you can actually schedule in to make sure that you're giving yourself extra time to meet all of your expectations at the end of the week, right? So tip here is to balance structure with adaptability to avoid feeling overwhelmed, okay? So now I'm going to give us another 3 minutes to start laying out our weekly schedule. Okay. So hopefully you were able to start laying some things out on your ideal weekly schedule. So to wrap this up, by creating an ideal daily routine and a default weekly schedule, you've laid the foundation for managing your time in a way that supports your goals and keeps you balanced. So in this final section, I'll share how you can take these strategies even further with the tools and resources that I've created to help you plan for success. I want to remind you guys, we're getting ready to wrap up here. We're like, I guess we have like 15 or 16 minutes left to 2 hours. Like I said, I will wait to answer all of your questions, but if you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments. So once we get to the Q&A, we'll be able to kind of breeze through those. So your next steps. You've done incredible work today. You've reflected on your vision, you've clarified your goals, and you've built systems to manage your time. These are the first steps towards living a balanced and successful life. But here's the truth. Creating balance and achieving your goals isn't just about what you learn, it's about the action that you take and the support that you have along the way. That's why I've created 3 unique options to help you go even further and make 2025 the year that everything changes for you for the better. So let me walk you through them so that you can choose the one that fits your journey best. The first tool I have for you is You Got Goals, my annual goal setting and planning workshop. So if you're feeling stuck or uncertain about where to start on this journey of creating this balancing success for your life, and that you have goals and things that you want to be acting on, but in the past you haven't been prioritizing them, the You Got Goals workshop is the perfect first step. This workshop is all about helping you get crystal clear on your priorities and goals, then mapping them out in a way that feels balanced and achievable. I'll guide you through breaking your big dreams into manageable steps so that you leave with a personalized roadmap for the year. Whether you're overwhelmed by too many ideas or unsure how to take action, this workshop will give you the clarity and focus that you need to move forward with confidence. Now, the You've Got Goals workshop is actually a series. It's 2 workshops that come with 2 goal planners. One of them is the annual review and prep work planner, and the other one is your 2025 You've Got Goals planner with the workshop replay and that actual goal planner. So the purpose of these planner elements that I'm giving you is to help you actually take your goals and break them down, but they also are given to you with the expectation that you are then going to transfer the breakdowns into your planner of choice, right? So if you're using the Charm Life Master Planner, you have everything you need to, and all the space you need to like really map these things out in your planner. But the workbooks / inserts that I give you, these goal planning inserts, are also there in case the planner that you're using is not functional and doesn't have everything you need. It gives you extra inserts to be able to insert into your planner system so that you do have the space to actually plan everything out and be able to have visibility to it throughout the year, right? Because I definitely want you to only be using one planner if it's at all possible. If you're using the master planner, you're great, you'll be golden. If you're using some different planner, you might need to use some supplemental inserts from this goal setting workbook, right, to actually meet your needs. So for any of you who are struggling with the goal setting aspect, this is the first tool that I want you guys to know about. And there are links down below in the description for all of the things we're talking about today. Number 2 is the Charmed Life Master Planner. So if you are ready to stay organized and turn your goals into daily action, the Charmed Life Master Planner is your ultimate tool. So this planner isn't just a calendar, it's a complete system for managing your priorities, projects, and your daily tasks. It has dedicated sections for project planning to break down your goals. It has monthly task lists and trackers that will keep everything in one place. And it has space for your ideal routine and your default weekly schedule to help you maintain balance. And that's not all. Like the Charm Life Master Planner, I think of it as being 3 productivity tools in one. The first productivity tool that it is that it is a place for you to be able to brain dump and capture all of your productive, all the things that you need to do, your tasks, any ideas that you have. It's for you to brain dump, brainstorm, and to keep information together, right? Get it out of your head and onto paper. The second tool that's inside of it is the project planning section that helps you organize everything into strategic objectives and create action plans so that you know what you need to do to get things done. And then the third part is the calendar and agenda part, which is where you're actually going to track and allocate your time and what tasks you're going to be working on so that you can work more productively and efficiently, right? So whether you prefer print on demand inserts or a digital planning PDF, or even the book-bound version that's available on Amazon, the planner will adapt to your needs. So I have here, like on my iPad, I use my digital version of my master planner. In the past, I've used the inserts, like the printed home inserts, and put it in my planner, right, to create my own custom plan or custom functional planner. Or you can purchase the whole planner as the book-bound system on Amazon. So imagine waking up every day with a clear plan of action, knowing that every task you complete is moving you closer to your goals. That's the power of the Charmed Life Master Planner. And what I would say is functional planning in general. So here's just a little overview of the three types of planners. There's the digital planner, there's the printable inserts, there's the book bound. That's undated as well. The book bound is undated. The other two are dated for 2025. So tool number 3 is the Charmed Life Mastermind. So for those of you who are ready for the ultimate transformation this year, there is the Charmed Life Mastermind. So this is more than just a coaching program. This is an entire support system designed to help ambitious women like you create balance, stay accountable, and achieve success in every area of your life. This is my productivity planning and personal development group coaching community. And there's really too much included within the community for me to talk about everything, but just as like a recap of the highlights here, what you'll get as a member of the mastermind, you'll get access to hundreds of on-demand resources, from masterclasses to guided meditations, planner inserts, workbooks, so much. You get 3 live coaching calls with me every month, right? In group coaching calls. One of them is a new masterclass. So if you enjoyed this workshop today, right, and you're like, wow, Alexis, I would love to do this with you every month. I would love to, have times to actually learn from you and do activities with you and get coaching from you, right? Like this. We do this like 3 times a month. I have one masterclass every month, one office hours coaching call, group coaching call that I do every month, where I help you identify your obstacles and I'll teach on like how to overcome certain obstacles, and we'll do coaching right in the group community. And then we have our planning power hour. So every month at the end of the month, we plan together for the next month, right? So if you like this idea of meeting live with the rest of the community, this is something that is available to you as a mastermind member. And then you also get a community of like-minded women that are here to help you, along the way, to help cheer you on and help to, share their insights on the journey and be extra accountability for you. And the best part is that when you join the annual membership of the mastermind, you get the master planner free. You get the PDF version, the printable and the digital version completely free. That's $125 value. You got goals as a member of the mastermind. That's one of our workshops, one of our master classes inside of the mastermind that's already included. Right? And annual members also get 15% off versus if you're doing monthly, right? So there's a monthly membership, monthly pay option, there's a quarterly pay option, and there's an annual pay option. So if you join the annual pay option, you get 15% off of the membership price, you get the digital and the print on demand master planner, you got goals already included. It's one of the workshops, master classes in there. So the mastermind combines everything that you need to make your goals happen, right? The tools, the guidance, the support of a community, right? That's just as ambitious as you are. So that is the Charmed Life Mastermind. So here's what I want you to remember. If you're looking for a starting point to clarify your goals and priorities, the You Got Goals workshop is the way to go. If you need a tool to stay organized and take consistent action, the Charmed Life Master Planner is for you. And if you're ready for a complete system of support, accountability, and transformation, the Charmed Life Mastermind is your best option. It includes everything that you need to achieve balance and success that you've been dreaming of. Plus, it gives you on-demand access to me as your personal mentor, personal coach. So the choice is yours. Wherever you are in your journey, there is a next step for you. So let's make this the year that you take control of your time, focus on what truly matters, and start living the life that you've been dreaming of. Everything you need is right here waiting for you to take that next step. So use the links in the description to grab the tools that you need for 2025 now. So now we're going to go ahead and go into our Q&A. So what did you think? Right? Do you still have any questions about the class? That was a lot of strategy, and I can't wait for you to put it into practice in your own life. But for now, I want to make sure that I answer all of your questions. So if you have questions, now is the time to ask them. I am going to go through and see I know we had some questions, I think, that popped up. So I'm going to go through, make sure you put a Q in front of your question. And I know that there might be a little bit of a delay because I told you guys to pull back your stream if you were here live. So okay, first question. What is the best type of planner to use to track your health issues? Okay, so this is a really great question. A lot of people ask me, like, what is the best planner to use for this situation that I'm in, or for me to be able to manage, this priority in my life, right? So the answer to this question, I can very easily be like, yes, the Charmed Life Master Planner, but that's not like really the true answer. The true answer is whatever the thing is in your life that you're trying to manage, right? Or track here, right? You're not just looking for the planner that's for that, right? You're looking for the actual inserts and the worksheets inside of the planner that will help you to see that information and get that information onto paper in a way that you resonate with. So that it's mirroring the way you see it in your head onto paper. So when it comes to like tracking a health situation, right, that you've got going on, like health, issues, you may need more than one thing or another, right? So one of the things you may want is a yearly tracker. So inside of the Charm Life Master Planner, there is a yearly tracker where you can note the days, right, where you have flare-ups, or you can note different types of symptoms you might be having, things like that, right? If that's something where you need to track it, just what day something happened, right? You could easily mark it on an annual tracker. Or if you need to track symptoms, you could, again, easily map that out on a yearly tracker, like a year on in a spread tracker. Now, if you have to track more detailed information, like maybe you have different things that happen to you because of your health throughout the day, then you may want to be using, I would think maybe like a daily planning page, something where you'd actually be able to notate what time something happened and what you were experiencing. So like a daily agenda page might be what you need. So like I said, it's depending on what your specific situation is. It's not about finding the right planner. It's about the right inserts and where are those inserts, right? So the Charm Life Master Planner has a couple of different annual tracker inserts that you can use for tracking health issues, right? Or symptoms. Or, you need like a daily page where you're going to be able to notate different things that happen to you throughout the day. So it's about what your needs are, what you need to see, and what you need to be tracking, right? So it's not necessarily what planner, it's what information do you need to track and what types of spreads will help you visualize that information and get it onto paper. So I hope that helps. I have a question here about the buffering, but I think I answered that live in the chat. So I think that's probably been answered. Okay. No other questions right now. I know that I'm incredibly thorough. So it's not uncommon for you to have a question and then it be answered within my class. But also there was a lot going on. So maybe right now some people have questions, but they have not formulated them properly in their minds yet, which is totally fine. So I'm going to wait just a couple more minutes just to make sure, because like I said, I did have people pull back. And if there's no more questions, then we will just wrap up. And we'll be right on time. Yeah, so I hope that this workshop, this training has been helpful for you. The thing that I want you to remember is that when it comes to planning for balance and success, right? Number one, you need to know what balance and success looks like for you, right? Do not use some sort of arbitrary external example. You need to choose it for yourself. The second thing is that you actually, I think to get balance and success in your life, you need to take the time to set your goals. And again, your goals and your priorities, right? Setting those for yourself for the year, that's going to give you clarity on what the standards are that you want to either create or maintain, right? And then once you know what those are, you can break them into action plans that you can integrate into, your work for the month, for the week, for the day. On top of that, the way I stay balanced, right? The number one way I stay balanced is through the 2 time management systems, the ideal daily routine and the default weekly schedule. Your ideal day is a great way for you to make sure that you're making progress every day and managing your energy and taking care of the most important things that would come up every day and managing your time that way and your habits. But then 24 hours is just not enough time to manage it all. So using the weekly routine, right? That gives you the rest of the space you need to fill in the gaps and make sure that by the end of a week, you have touched and moved forward all of the priorities in your life. And that is how I stay balanced, right? I set aside time for everything that's important. I define what's important. I limit how many things are important. I define time for what I'm going to actually work on, right? And say, these are all the tasks and things that I want to accomplish with the time that I've set aside for this priority. And that's how you establish balance, right? Oh, I think this is a question. It doesn't start with a Q though, but are you offering private coaching to set up goals, objectives, systems in case your audience is interested? So if that's you, send me an email, I guess. I did offer coaching for my mastermind sisters. So I would say that usually private coaching things are things that I offer to my mastermind sisters. But if there's someone who needs help with that, I'll have to look at my schedule and see what your schedule is and see if that's something we want to do. So the answer is maybe. Okay, so this isn't a question, but I will turn it into an answer. Marissa says, my problem is I work 12-hour shifts. It's hard to keep a consistent routine with my life. There's actually a mastermind sister of mine that I can think of who has a very similar issue, is that she works, she has a schedule where she works like on call for a period of time, like a week or two at a time. And then she's kind of like off for a week or two at a time. And she feels the same way, that she feels like it has, there's trouble keeping consistent routine. But the truth is that your work, right? 12 hours on, 12 hours off, there is a routine there. There's space there. There's time there. So it's just about you choosing how you're going to use the time that is left, right? So if you work 12 hours a day, do you work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week? Or do you work 12 hours a day, 4 days a week? Maybe, I'm not sure, or maybe 5 days a week. You still have days on and days off. And this is where that ideal daily routine and the weekly schedule come into play. Because if you can block off time, right, for your work day, okay, these are the 12 hours that I'm working. And yeah, maybe you don't do very much of anything else on your work days other than making sure you feed yourself and, maybe taking care of children if you have children or pets or anything like that, right? But then on your days off, the time off that you have, what does that look like? And how could you be scheduling blocks of time in that time off to get like one other thing done, right? So like, even if you work a 12-hour shift and, you sleep 8 hours, I mean, you're really cutting low on extra time on a work day. But maybe you have one thing that you do on Mondays, one thing that you do on Tuesday, one thing you do on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you know what I'm saying? On the days that you work, one priority that you can choose, right? Either one consistent thing or one thing that cycles, almost like a time block, like a themed block, right? And then on your days off, how could you be managing that time to be able to touch your other priorities? Does that make sense? Marissa. Because you do have a routine. You have this 12 hours that you work, right? And so maybe your shifts always change, right? But if you look at this from work day versus day off, there's a routine that can be built there. If you look at this for like an entire week, right? If your shift changes, that's fine. But then what are the what are the days off? If that day off changes, the days off change throughout the week. It's just day off 1, day off 2, day off 3. You know what I mean? And here's the schedule for those. Does that make sense? If you're someone who really works shifts and your schedule changes every week. And maybe your days off are different too. Like not just different, but like maybe some weeks you get 2 days off. Some weeks you get maybe some weeks you get 2 days off. Some weeks you get 1 or 3 days off, right? That means that what you're going to do then is create the 1 day off schedule, right? The 2 day off a week schedule and a 3 day off a week schedule. And you're just going to apply it to your week, right? So it's like, okay, this week I only have 1 day off. Okay, so then you pull up what's that day off and what's the schedule that you have for the 1 day off a week, right? Where you might actually balance your priorities a little bit different. So if you only had 1 day off in a week, what are the most important things? If you have 2 days off in a week, how can you balance that between 2 days? And then if you had 3 days off or more or something like that, what would that schedule look like? So then you would just create alternate schedules. And it's not about the days, it's about like the number of days off you have, if that makes sense. I'm really just extrapolating here based on what you've said. So I know we're a little bit behind, so. Okay, someone asked if there's an undated print-on-demand planner. No, the undated planner is the one on Amazon that is bookbound. That is undated. But if you buy that, you can go ahead and cut the back off of it, the spine off of it, and I have a video on how I did that. And you could use it as inserts if you wanted to. But all of the printable, right? The one that's printable PDF and the one that's a digital planning PDF, they are dated. But other than that, there's no differences between the planners. They're either dated, undated, and they all have like the same inserts, except the print on demand, there's options you can choose, like for your weekly and monthly calendars. If you have questions about what's in the planners, I recommend going to the page that's linked down below. It's like a information page that will tell you about each version. Okay, well, it doesn't look like we have any more questions. So hopefully that answered everyone's questions. Of course, if you have questions in the future, feel free to just leave them in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I will have this replay up for you guys, so you're going to be able to rewatch this. If you're watching the replay and you didn't get the workbook, it'll be linked down below where you can get the workbook. And yeah, this should help you to set yourself up for like a well-balanced and well-planned and successful 2025. So thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!